Yokoso, konnichiwa, and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Japan Open 2016, a super series on the World Tour for ITTF. I'm your commentator, Adam Bobrow, and that is LIU Shiwen in the blue shirt, world rank #1. She's coming into the women's singles quarterfinals. She's the first seed in the tournament, and she's #3 in the race to Doha. And her opponent, Yana, 37 years of age, a proud mother of a love child produced by her and Tong Peng. Yana took the first title on the World Tour this year, the Hungary Open 2016. She's currently world rank #18, 18th seed in the tournament. And our head umpire is Akiko Kamiya from Japan. Assistant umpire is Tadanori Chiaki, also from Japan. Yana is #6 in the race to Doha, the big World Tour Grand Finals tournament that will be happening in Doha, Qatar in December the 8th through the 11th. It's always a very exciting tournament, the biggest prize money on the World Tour that culminates the year. And LIU Shiwen, even though she's world ranked #1, has a lot to prove. She's shown that she can hold down the spot in world #1, but when it comes to big pressure matches, has had a difficult time here and there. 2016 for LIU Shiwen, so far she's taken one Super Series. It was the Qatar Open. And in 2015, at the end of the year, after losing in the finals, a devastating loss to teammate Ding Ning in Game 7 after Ding Ning's memorable ankle roll, LIU Shiwen ended up second place at the World Championships, but came back to win the Polish Open. And after that, the Women's World Cup in Sendai, Japan. Not an easy battle either. Some impressive play over Li Jiao, Netherlands, who took down none other than Zhu Yuling, one of the big four from the Chinese women's team. LIU Shiwen incredibly steady, chooses to stay on that side of the table, wants to make it clear. With the coin toss, whoever wins has the right to either choose who serves or where the players stand, and who does not win the coin toss has the right to choose what was not chosen. So if Yana chooses to serve, LIU Shiwen can say, I would like to stay here, or I would like to switch sides. LIU Shiwen, 25 years old, is #3 on the race to Doha. You can see some of her titles right there. The World Tour Grand Finals in 2012, for example. So LIU Shiwen, very compact strokes, very consistent in her game. And for many of the top players over the past few decades, speaking of which, there's Yan Sen, doubles partner for Wang Liqin, legendary player from China. LIU Shiwen, very compact, as I mentioned. And Yana, you can see right there some of her titles, some of her accomplishments anyway. Much like Tong Peng, came originally from China, moving into Hong Kong to play. Her backhand is very impressive. You got Li Qing right there, another legend of table tennis for Hong Kong, especially in doubles, you might recall, very fiery player. But as I was mentioning, the backhand of Yana right off the bounce, very wide angles, element of surprise, very whip-like. And at 37 years old, it's a good sign that she plays such a loose game. There's a lot of conversation about Vladimir Samsonov, the Ask a Pro Anything player this week, about how he manages to stay so strong for so long into his upper years. Still one of the world top 10. Yana, quite similar in her movements, you'll see. Off the bounce, times it just right with the counter forehand. That's the first point in this best-of-7 match, and it goes to Yana. Well, that didn't go in. You could see how short that stroke was and how the wrist really misdirected the ball. Gonna try and wait till the last moment, give no clues as to where she's going. Strong touch game as well from Yana, very good over the table and in the receive game. And that ball barely came off the table. LIU Shiwen right there to take advantage, spin it up. think there might be a little something inside the ball, a secret. That's a pretty rare situation. I feel like 1 out of every, I don't know, few hundred balls, maybe 1 out of every 1,000 balls has a little surprise inside, like a grain of sand or something. LIU Shiwen giving that look like, huh, it's pretty peculiar. But they've tested many balls before the match, making sure that they're happy. The balls don't wobble, that they're completely round, solid. LIU Shiwen checking just to make sure nothing inside again. No jingle balls out here. Tied up at 2 points each. LIU Shiwen with the serve. Yana is 0 for 2 right now with that backhand bending it out wide to the forehand side. In the women's game, we see a lot of fast play off the bounce, quick short strokes, middle to middle, backhand to backhand, trying to find each other's middle. But instead, LIU Shiwen goes for the wide angle off the side, and it pays off. You can see her follow through, does not follow through too much, very short stroke again. And this is one thing that makes LIU Shiwen's game so valuable and so fast, is that she recovers so quickly. This takes a lot of physical conditioning as well to sort of restrain your shot at after the point of contact. Get right back and centered. So it became a little bit longer than it appeared LIU Shiwen intended, giving the opening attack to Yana, getting control of the point early on. That's 2 in a row that Yana has been able to take right off the ball, right off the bounce rather, in the receive game, the back edge of the table. Now these two have faced off head-to-head 4 times. And all 4 of those have gone to LIU Shiwen. That's the soft touch. LIU Shiwen a little bit late to get in. The ball had already dropped by the time she took her shot. And that's 4 straight points for Yana to tie it up. Starting to feel like a pretty one-sided game for LIU Shiwen at the start. Trying to find the middle on LIU Shiwen, like a needle in a haystack. And again, that short stroke, not telegraphing at all where she's going, takes it down the line for the point. So many points have been earned by Yana's touch on that receive, from leaving it up over the table to the half long ball right there. And while the backhand has been effective for Yana, where she tries to go out wide to the forehand with the backhand, has had, I would say, not too optimistic percentages right now. And even on the forehand side, trying to play it wide out to LIU Shiwen's forehand has been tricky for Yana. Yana started off this tournament quite strong, beating Ai Fukuhara in front of the home crowd. Well, that's a big upset. Yana has a good record against Ai Fukuhara. And this time she gets the opening backhand, but mid-rally the forehand falls flat, and it's 3 game points for LIU Shiwen. Cautious forehand followed up by the big backhand going out. Liu Shiwen takes game 1 11 points to 7, and we'll be back after this short break for game 2. Stay right here. And the players are back for game 2. Yana starting off the serve. Liu Shiwen right there in blue from China, and Yana in red from Hong Kong. Down 0 games to 1. A little bit of inside-out spin. You can see Liu Shiwen sort of replaying the bounce. Now, there's so many things to consider on a serve as the receiver and the server. The way the ball kicks as well, or bites the table because of the spin. That looked like a paralyzing shot right down the middle. Yana caught in the shrug position with her chin up in the air. Look at that power. She held that position for so long, you have to hope that everything's fine for a moment. Pace on these shots down the middle. Liu Shiwen right now just a step ahead. Yana has been opening up well. A few soft backhand receives, placement, something confident but not too ambitious. It's often 4th or 5th shot in the rally for Liu Shiwen that finishes it. But heavy spin here from the back of the table to take it on the 3rd ball. Heavy underspin on that. Even with all the back that Liu Shiwen put into it, she couldn't lift it over the net. Now, another thing about serve, using the body weight to really come into the ball, along with the timing and the wrist. It's a full body experience to put spin on the ball. Something that's very clearly demonstrated by many of the world's top players, men and women. Snap backhand like a slingshot. Liu Shiwen right off the bounce. You can see a lot of thought going on for Liu Shiwen between every point. And again, this is an Olympic year. Watch the contact here, the ball right by the face. Technically needs to be visible by the opponent at all times. But there was a video released about the umpires and the new different calls, the hand signals for service calls. Oh, just too much power. Late in the rally, Liu Shiwen decides enough of this and puts it away with the backhand. Second to last shot. Still a quick one covering the middle, but 64 kilometers per hour. That backhand full extension out in front. That ball's not coming back. It's got a one-way ticket to Barrierville. And that flat hit's a low percentage shot from low at the back of the table. Yeah, it's a very difficult ball to make without spin. Waiting there for a drop shot if it comes back, but it's an inside-out forehand. Yana with the wide forehand ball first to get LIU Shiwen out of position. Last shot a little bit flatter by LIU Shiwen as well. You could hear the crack sound as she flat hit the ball. Relatively anyway to some of her spinnier shots from the back of the table. And now we've got 6 game points for LIU Shiwen to go up 2-0. And there it is, a well-placed serve to the middle of the table, 11 points to 4, more dominant than the first game. LIU Shiwen stepping it up to a 2-0 lead, and we'll be back for game 3 after this short break. We're back for game 3. LIU Shiwen leading 2-0. Talking a bit about her mental strength and questions with the Olympics coming up. Consistent in the backhand-to-backhand rally, takes the first point. Now, LIU Shiwen will be going to the Olympic Games, but she's going as a team player. The third player for China will not be playing in the singles. That privilege will be left to Ding Ning and defending champion Li Xiaoxia, both of whom are here competing in this tournament with all the top players in the world. Just missing the edge of the table, covering the middle. Yana stepping into the lead with their second point this game. That forehand flip from over the table, very low, good pace on it. So much work, crisp shots. Yana worked so hard in there, and still LIU Shiwen covers with the reached out, stretched backhand. That forehand off balance, and look at this backhand on the run. This is where all the conditioning comes in. It's exhausting to get to the ball and have to create another strong shot. No problem for these players though, another cracked ball here. Unless it's got a thing inside, we'll see. They'll take out another one that's qualified and prepared for this event, for this match. Decent receive there for a fast long serve into the middle. Again, when someone pulls out a long serve, I'd say about 80% of the serves in professional table tennis are half long. You can see right here a cool breakdown. Placement on the table, mostly in the middle. This is the women's game. But the wide backhand, LIU Shiwen's backhand wing, so strong for that cross-court shot. She's forcing Yana to cover the middle with the forehand several times before taking that finishing backhand. Attempt for the flat hit down the middle. Yana's backhand serve has earned her a few points, but I think she's going to have to change up the placement a bit. Surprise Liu Shiwen with it. A strong start to the point from Yana. Speaking of surprise, just mentioned the word surprise, and suddenly she hits the ball right into the body of Liu Shiwen. Easier said than done, but that inside-out forehand, deep to the backhand side of the table, has been quite effective when she can land it. Now again, the pressure situation. Liu Shiwen under pressure has recently had a difficult loss to a foreigner. And it was actually a teammate of Yana from Hong Kong, Du Hoi Kem, at the Olympic qualification tournament in Hong Kong. Feels like it was a little bit over a month ago now. Liu Shiwen was the top seed in that tournament, but it was their teammate Li Xiaoxia who qualified. Recovery from Liu Shiwen off the top of the net early in the point. Really showing her composure and touch out here. You can see one thing that's very common. Liu Shiwen keeps a racket head up between points, between shots rather. I think this is something in the men's game as well that people forget about. But keeping the racket head up, very important to make sure you get to the shot. And it looked like Yana thought the point was over after a few of those recoveries. Liu Shiwen making amazing retrieves there from the middle of the body off the table. 11-4 again, absolutely dominating in the last two games. And we'll be back for game 4 to see if Liu Shiwen shuts it out right after this break. We are back for game 4. Both players here. Liu Shiwen leading 3-0 over Yana in red. Again, Yana, 37 years old, made it all the way to the quarterfinals here and took the first title of the year in Hungary this year. Pulled off some upsets to be here in the tournament. Again, she's the 18th seed playing in the final 8. But her opponent, Liu Shiwen, shows no signs of slowing down so far. And right as I say that, spins the ball up a little bit high, and Yana can flat hit it behind her. Even off the bounce, you could see how much kick there was, all that spin. Not as easy as it looked. The side angle shows it a bit better. Not sure if it clipped the top of the net or it was an edge of the racket. Liu Shiwen giving a little apology to Yana. It's one other thing you'll see players apologize for. Hitting the shot with the edge of the racket makes it a little bit more difficult to predict, and it's obviously not intentional. Liu Shiwen is moving around Yana very well. It's usually the other way around. Yana, short strokes, quick redirection, stays on top of the table. And that was the backhand serve I was talking about earlier, changing it up a little shorter to the forehand side instead of half long to the middle. And always changing the serve. This comes with experience. Samsonov can show you that as well. Always moving around on his serve, changing up the placement, not allowing the opponent to get into the rhythm or really predict where it's going to go. You'll have a chance to see Samsonov playing later today. Look at the percentages here. See a lot more cross-court backhands from Liu Shiwen than the other way around. But dead even from the middle of the table and backhand to backhand. Yana with Coach Li Qing in the corner. There'll be some talk about opening up, I think, initiating early in the point. As far as covering the middle goes, it's been trouble. Yana has used her forehand a bit. In case you could understand what was being said, figured I'd give you a chance to hear Li Qing give a few words to Yana. Changing up placement, initiating, breaking patterns, but not playing soft. Liu Shiwen's just too fast. And even though she doesn't have the power of, say, Li Xiaoxia, she has enough power to finish a point if you give her a soft ball. Perfectly applied, takes the coaching and puts it on the table. Yana opening up quickly with the backhand, a very satisfied Li Qing in the corner. This time changes up the spin, goes longer with some underspin on that backhand serve. Earns a spinny but more predictable third ball. But once Liu Shiwen gets her first shot in on the elbow, it seems that Yana is handcuffed and incapacitated for a bit. And right out of the timeout, Yana showed some aggression and initiative with that backhand, but since then it seems like she just hasn't been able to start the fire out here. There it is, 2 crisp shots in a row, the spinny ball wide. She really has to make every shot count. Yana's service placement. That's interesting. It seemed like there was a lot more to the middle from the backhand, but it appears that many are going deep cross court. So much power on that opening backhand. Liu Shiwen, when she decides to go all in, rarely does the ball come back. Such a short backstroke, too. The shot almost looked the same as the one before. There it is again, the tuck and rip from Liu Shiwen. And we've got 6 match points for Liu Shiwen to move on. 4-0 over Yana. The lackluster backhand makes it once, but not twice. Going for broke. It's 4-0. Liu Shiwen takes it over Yana. A solid tournament for the Hong Kong player, but China's Liu Shiwen, world ranked #1, will be moving on to the women's singles semifinals to see if she can add a title to her collection. But she'll still have another round to go. Stick around. We've got more matches coming up. It's a day full of table tennis. Next will be Wang Chun-Ting versus Xu Xin, the top 2 pen holders in the world. You're watching the Japan Open.
我操！我看我感觉我。